Welcome to today's deep dive. We actually have a highly specific and honestly really fascinating stack of sources to go through today.
Yeah, this one is a bit different from our usual material, but it is incredibly revealing.
Right. So what we have in front of us is a comprehensive digital presence audit. And along with that, a marketing proposal.
Yeah, an actual real-world pitch.
Exactly. And it was created for an independent computer retailer called Computer Point, which is located over in Rajahmundry, Andhra Pradesh.
Yep, sourced directly from a detailed write-as post and a supplementary PDF they put together.
So the mission for our deep dive today is to really extract the core insights from these documents because on the surface, you're just looking at a localized marketing pitch, right?
Right, just a standard agency pitch.
But if you look closer, it's actually an absolute masterclass. It's a blueprint on how a traditional brick-and-mortar business can survive and honestly thrive in the age of these massive e-commerce giants.
It really is. It takes that abstract, often overwhelming idea of digital marketing, and it forces it to survive in the gritty, margin-obsessed reality of local retail.
Which is why, whether you are a marketer or maybe a small business owner yourself or just someone who is fascinated by business strategy, this matters to you. It provides the exact blueprint for turning local trust into a massive competitive moat.
It's the survival guide for the little guy, basically.
Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to think about that one local spot in your hometown. Maybe it's a diner or a hardware store, or like an auto mechanic.
Oh, everyone has one of those.
Right. And from the outside, it looks completely unassuming. But if you know, you know. They have that legendary secret menu item or maybe an owner who can literally diagnose a problem just by listening to your car's engine.
It's an amazing asset. But the problem is it relies entirely on word of mouth.
Exactly. If you're a new buyer today, someone who validates everything on their phone before they even put their shoes on, that amazing local spot is, well, it's essentially invisible.
And that is the ultimate modern business paradox.
Yeah.
A business can accumulate decades of profound real-world trust. But if that trust doesn't translate to a screen,
they practically don't exist.
Right. They don't exist to a massive and growing segment of the market.
So let's apply that paradox directly to the reality on the ground for Computer Point. We are not talking about some fly-by-night shop that just opened last Tuesday.
No, not at all. They've been operating since 1996.
Which is wild.
It is. Think about it. That means they have survived the dot-com bubble, the rise of laptops, the smartphone revolution, the pandemic. Nearly 30 years in technology retail is an absolute eternity.
It really proves that their underlying business model and their customer service are fundamentally sound. They also have a very recognizable physical location around Mangalavarapeta and Bankealavari Street.
Yeah, they clearly have a foundation of real-world goodwill built up over all those years.
For sure. The audit even notes that if you look them up on Just Dial, they have a solid 4.0 rating, and that's based on 294 reviews.
Right, which confirms the offline business works. People in Rajahmundry are buying from them, and they are happy enough to actually engage with the directory listing.
But, and here's the huge caveat, despite that rich offline history, the audit reveals their digital footprint is incredibly weak.
It's barely there.
Right.
Yeah.
They have a basic Google business profile, just dial links to a website, computermall.in. But when the auditor went looking for, a strong, branded, active Facebook or Instagram presence...
Nothing. There was nothing substantial.
Zero. It was either inactive or suffered from weak naming conventions or just had no posting consistency whatsoever.
They are operating exactly like your secret diner analogy. They're just waiting for people to walk past the window or hear a rumor about them.
Yeah.
And, well, in modern retail, being a secret is the fastest path to obsolescence.
Especially when you look at who they're fighting against. The proposal outlines the competitor landscape in Rajahmundry, and it breaks it down into distinct tiers of pressure. So at the very top, you have the organized brand stores.
Places like HP World and Reliance Digital.
Exactly.
And the heavyweights.
And those heavyweights, they possess massive corporate budgets. They have the slick official pages, the frictionless pathways to purchase, and instant brand authority. A customer trusts Reliance Digital before they even walk through the door just because of that national branding.
Yeah. And then below that, you have the local ecosystem. The audit points out that the local market in Rajahmundry is incredibly fragmented.
Highly competitive.
Right. You have Computer Point, but they are surrounded by peers. Shops like Venus Computers, Suresh Computers, Shrikanya Computer World, Computer Channel, Net Computers. It is a crowded, noisy field of independent dealers.
It really is. So Computer Point is getting squeezed from the top by national chains and then completely surrounded on all sides by local rivals.
It sounds like a nightmare scenario for a business owner.
Well, the instinct is to view that fragmentation as a nightmare. But what's fascinating here is that the proposal argues the exact opposite.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that local fragmentation is actually Computer Point's biggest unexploited advantage. How does that work, though? I mean, if everyone is selling the exact same laptops, how is a crowded market an advantage?
It's because of how those competitors are operating.
Yep.
The audit indicates that almost all of these local shops are playing a really old-school game.
Like just waiting for walk-ins.
Exactly. They rely entirely on footfall, basic directory listings, and customers physically walking in to haggle over prices. Literally none of them are dominating the digital narrative.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because the local bar is set so low, Computer Point doesn't actually need $1 million ad budget to win. They just need a disciplined, localized digital strategy.
So just by showing up online consistently, they win.
By simply organizing their digital presence, they instantly elevate themselves above that fragmented pack. They immediately look like the most trustworthy modern shop in town.
Okay, I want to pause and push back on this premise just a little bit, because I think we're ignoring the elephant in the room here.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
How does a local mom and pop shop actually beat Amazon or Flipkart? Because let's be real, if a college student in Rajahmundry is looking for a specific laptop, and the multi-billion-dollar pricing algorithm at Amazon prices it 3,000 rupees cheaper than Computer Point,
The student is going to buy it online.
right? I mean, I love supporting local businesses, but my wallet usually wins that argument.
You're touching on the exact fear that every single local retailer harbors. But you are looking at the product solely as an SKU, a stock keeping unit.
Right, the specific barcode, the exact model of the
Okay.
laptop.
And if a local shop tries to compete on the SKU, if they try to play that generic discount game against Flipkart, they will absolutely get crushed.
They just can't win on margin.
Never. The
No.
core genius of the strategy in this proposal is the recognition that you must refuse to play the price matching game. Instead, you play the buyer anxiety game.
The buyer anxiety game.
Yes. You aggressively market the things that e-commerce simply cannot do.
Okay, unpack that for me. What does buyer anxiety actually look like for technology?
Well, think about the psychological journey of buying a laptop online. You hit purchase, and then you wait.
Yeah, checking the tracking number every 5 minutes.
Exactly. You worry about the package getting stolen or maybe damaged in transit. And then when the box finally arrives, the anxiety shifts. You have to boot it up. What if there's a dead pixel?
Ugh, the worst. Returning it means printing labels, boxing it back up, and waiting weeks for a refund.
Exactly. And then there's the setup. What if the buyer doesn't know how to transfer their decades of family photos from their old dying hard drive to the new machine? Or what if the new printer they bought just refuses to connect to their office Wi-Fi network?
And if you bought it online, your only recourse is what? A chatbot or digging through a community forum?
Right. E-commerce outsources all of that technical anxiety directly onto the customer just to save a few bucks. So the proposal outlines very specific local hooks designed entirely to eliminate that anxiety.
What kind of hooks?
They recommend marketing same-day delivery in Rajahmundry. They suggest advertising free setup and data transfer.
Oh, that's huge.
It is. They want Computer Point to promote student laptop guidance, where a real human being actually helps a student pick the right machine for their specific major. Or offering printer installation right at your office.
Wow, okay. That is a fundamental positioning shift, because they are no longer messaging the market as just a computer shop that moves metal and plastic from a shelf to a car.
Exactly.
They are actively positioning themselves as a trusted local technology partner.
And that positioning applies universally. Whether the customer is a student, a home user, a small local clinic, or maybe a coaching center. The goal is to be the entity that removes the friction from using technology.
But wait, if they are spending all this time acting as a trusted partner, doing free data transfers, or, spending an hour guiding a student, how does the business actually protect its margins? That sounds expensive.
It's all about the upsell mechanics. The sources highlight that once you establish yourself as a trusted partner, the entire customer relationship changes. You aren't just making a one-off laptop sale anymore. You are perfectly positioned to sell higher margin, local-only services.
Like what kind of services?
Well, AMC, for one. That's an annual maintenance contract.
Ah, okay.
You offer to keep their systems running smoothly year-round. You handle their RAM and solid-state drive upgrades. You sell and install their antivirus software. You offer a CCTV and computer combo installation for another local business.
Oh, so becoming their go-to IT guy, essentially.
Exactly. And crucially, this opens up the pipeline for B2B supplies. Imagine a local school or a clinic that needs a reliable network. They cannot afford the downtime of shipping a broken router back to an online warehouse.
Right. They need it fixed today.
They need a local partner who could drive over and fix it today.
Yeah.
Those B2B relationships are incredibly lucrative, and an online marketplace simply cannot foster them.
That makes complete sense. You stop fighting the algorithms on price, and you start fighting on trust, immediacy, and convenience.
Exactly.
But, the theory only really matters if you can execute it. How does a shop owner who has spent 30 years focused solely on physical inventory suddenly build a digital trust engine?
It's a big shift. But the proposal lays out a really specific 90-day growth roadmap.
Right. It's kind of like building a house. They treat the digital transformation not as some overnight magic trick, but as a phased operational rollout.
Yeah, you can think of it like opening a second entirely digital storefront.
Yeah.
You wouldn't invite customers inside while the shelves are empty and the lights are off, right?
No, definitely not. So phase 1 is called Fix the Foundation, and that covers weeks 1 and 2. And notably, they don't jump into running flashy ads right away.
That would be a waste of money.
Right. First, they optimize the Google business profile. They ensure the primary and secondary business categories are perfectly accurate. They load the profile with their product catalogs, specific service offerings, fresh photos of the interior, and a really comprehensive FAQ section.
And they also establish a strict operational discipline for responding to WhatsApp inquiries and phone calls. That's vital.
Yeah, no point in getting leads if you don't answer them. And they also emphasize a concept called NAP consistency, right?
Yes, NAP, which stands for name, address, and phone number. It sounds minor, but it is absolutely critical. They audit the web to ensure ComputerPoint's NAP is identical across every single directory, like Just Dial.
Why does that matter so much?
Because if Google's web crawlers see variations in the address or the phone number across different sites, it degrades the search engine's trust in the business. And that pushes them down in local search results.
That is fascinating. So during this foundational phase, they also make a strategic decision regarding that old computermall.in website. They debate whether it's even worth saving or if they should just bypass the traditional website entirely and funnel all digital traffic straight into WhatsApp.
And that is perhaps the most culturally astute recommendation in the entire proposal.
How so?
Well, in the Indian market, WhatsApp is the ultimate conversational commerce engine. A traditional website checkout, it feels solitary and rigid.
Yeah, very transactional.
But WhatsApp allows the local buyer to engage in the cultural norms of commerce. They can ask questions, they can negotiate slightly, they can ask for a free mouse pad to be thrown in. It feels human, which perfectly reinforces that trusted partner positioning we discussed.
Ah, I love that. So once that digital storefront is clean and operational, they move to phase 2, build visibility. This spans weeks 3 through 6. This is when they actually launch the branded Facebook and Instagram pages.
Yes, and the prescription here is very disciplined, 3 to 4 posts a week, plus 2 reels.
But they highlight one specific action as the absolute most crucial step of phase 2. They want ComputerPoint to ask every single satisfied physical customer for a Google review, and ideally accompanied by a photo of them at the store.
Because the text review is good, sure, but a review with a photo, that is the purest form of digital currency for local retail.
Because it's undeniable.
Right. It is incontrovertible proof that real human beings in Rajahmundry are handing their money to this business and walking away happy.
So with the foundation built and the social proof accumulating, they move into phase 3, which is convert demand. This covers weeks 7 through 12, and this is where they actually start spending money to invite people in. But they aren't running broad, generic brand awareness ads, right?
No, they suggest running highly targeted, hyper-local meta ads.
Meta, of course, being the parent company of Facebook and Instagram.
Right, and the mechanics of these ads are brilliant because they rely on geographic precision. They drop a digital pin right on Rajahmundry, and they only serve ads to people within a tight radius around the store.
That's super efficient.
Very. And furthermore, they tailor the message to specific demographics. So they serve ads about student laptops to college-aged users and ads about office desktops to local small business owners.
And every single ad uses WhatsApp as the landing pad.
Exactly. You click the ad, and you are instantly texting the store owner for a stock check or a price quote.
Okay, but to fuel all of this, the audit details a very specific content strategy.
Yeah.
Like, what are they actually posting on Facebook and Instagram? Because it's not just a random assortment of computer memes.
No, not at all. They outline 4 specific content pillars, and they stress a crucial linguistic nuance here.
Which is?
The messaging must be a blend of Telugu and English. It cannot sound like a generic, polished corporate feed from a multinational. It has to speak the language of the street, both literally and culturally.
I really appreciate how organic these pillars are. Like, if I'm the store owner, I'm not just posting a boring picture of a Dell laptop box. The first pillar is product trust.
Right.
And this is where you showcase the new arrivals and the branded accessories, but you explicitly highlight the official warranty. You are directly communicating to the customer, hey, we sell the authentic, guaranteed equipment.
Which leads directly into the second pillar, problem solving.
Like showing them how to fix things.
Exactly. This is where the shop proves its expertise before the customer even walks in. They create content explaining why an old laptop might be running slow, or why upgrading to a solid-state drive is a total game changer.
Or offering basics on how to set up a home office network.
Right. You give away a little bit of free advice, which proves you actually know your stuff.
The third pillar is local proof, which ties perfectly back to those photo reviews we talked about. They suggest posting handover photos, the smiling student holding their brand new laptop box.
Hero loves those.
Yeah. They suggest sharing stories from buyers and running campaigns specifically tied to local festival offers. It's deep community integration.
And finally, there is comparison content. This is where they take the fight directly to e-commerce.
Getting aggressive.
Yeah, they create content that explicitly answers the question, why should you buy local instead of online? They offer checklists on what to check before buying a laptop, or the best laptop for degree students in Rajahmundry. They are actively intercepting the customer's online research process.
What really stands out to me here is how the proposal plans to measure the success of these 4 pillars, because they explicitly reject vanity metrics.
Absolutely, because a reel that goes viral and gets 10,000 likes from teenagers in another state, that does absolutely nothing for a shop in Rajahmundry.
Right. Vanity metrics don't pay the rent.
They don't. Instead, they focus relentlessly on local commerce KPIs, key performance indicators.
The hard metrics that actually correlate to revenue.
Exactly. They want to track the number of WhatsApp inquiries generated. They monitor how many people click the Get Directions button on their Google Maps profile.
Oh, that's a huge indicator of intent.
Massive. And they track lead-to-visit conversions, which means they are measuring exactly how many people who texted the WhatsApp number actually showed up at the physical store. They are connecting the digital activity directly to the physical cash register.
Okay, so we have dissected the problem, we've explored the psychological shift to becoming a trusted partner, and we have the entire 90-day execution roadmap. The final piece of this puzzle is the commercial reality. What does it actually cost for a local business to hire an agency to do this?
This is where theory meets the local owner's checkbook.
Right, and the sources actually provide the exact market rate pricing tailored specifically for this Andhra market. They structure it in 3 tiers. So the entry point is the starter local presence plan, which runs about 8,000 to 12,000 rupees a month.
Okay.
And that covers the basic optimization of the Google profile, 8 social posts a month, and 1 reel a week.
Which is effectively the digital maintenance plan. It prevents the business from looking dead, but it won't aggressively capture market share.
Yeah, it's just keeping the lights on. The middle tier is the growth plan, which is what the agency actually recommends for Computer Point. That is priced between 15,000 and 20,000 rupees a month.
That's the sweet spot.
Yeah, in fact, the draft proposal specifically pitches this at 15,000 to 18,000 rupees for a 3-month term. This plan steps up the volume significantly. You get full Google profile management, 12 to 16 posts a month, 4 to 6 reels, active management of customer reviews, and keeping tabs on local competitors.
A proper strategy. And then there is the top tier, the Performance Local Retail Plan. That runs 22,000 to 30,000 rupees a month. That is, for a store aggressively trying to dominate the town, and it includes the management of those hyperlocal meta ads and complex WhatsApp lead funnels.
And it is worth noting there are additional costs, too. There's a one-time setup fee of 5,000 to 10,000 rupees, and if they opt for the ads, the media budget paid directly to Meta is a separate 5,000 to 15,000 rupees.
Right, you have to pay to play on Facebook.
Exactly. So what does this all mean? When you step back and look at the psychology of this pitch, why do it this way? Why pitch a 15,000 rupee package for a short 3-month sprint instead of trying to lock them into, a massive annual contract?
Well, it's because small business owners are inherently and rightfully risk-averse.
They've been burned before.
Oh, constantly. They have often been burned by digital marketing agencies promising the moon and delivering nothing but those useless vanity metrics. So the 3-month sprint is a trust-building runway.
That makes sense.
It's a low enough barrier to entry for the shop owner to swallow, but it provides the agency enough budget and time to generate undeniable physical proof that the system works. If the owner sees more foot traffic and more WhatsApp messages inquiring about stock within 90 days, the agency wins a client for life.
It bridges the gap. The digital world becomes tangible when a customer walks into the shop holding their phone, pointing to an Instagram reel and saying, hey, I want to buy what you talked about in this video.
That is the exact moment the digital investment proves its worth.
Which really brings us to the core takeaway of this entire proposal. The journey of Computer Point proves something incredibly vital for the future of retail. Local independent businesses do not need to invent new proprietary products to survive against Amazon.
They don't need to out-innovate Silicon Valley.
Exactly. They simply need to digitally package the assets they already possess. Decades of trust, the immediacy of being right down the street, and the irreplaceable value of human touch.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this proposal elegantly captures the psychology of the modern consumer. The audit observes that today, a buyer subconsciously requires a physical store to clear 3 distinct digital hurdles before they will ever bother visiting.
3 hurdles.
Yeah. First, they check Google reviews to validate reputation. Second, they look for recent photos to ensure the store is open, clean, and actually carries inventory. And third, they check social media to confirm the business is active and thriving.
And if they fail any of those?
If a local shop fails on any of those 3 hurdles, they lose the customer to a competitor. And they might lose to a competitor who actually offers worse technical service, but simply looks more competent on a 6-inch smartphone screen.
Because perception truly becomes reality. Which leaves me with a final, somewhat provocative thought for you to ponder. We have just spent this entire deep dive walking through an incredible, highly effective playbook for turning a localized shop into a digital powerhouse.
A really solid playbook.
But what happens when everyone wakes up? If every single independent shop in a fragmented market eventually adopts this exact same digital playbook, does hyperlocal digital trust just become the new baseline expectation?
Oh, that's a great question.
Right. And if every shop has great photo reviews and highly produced reels and instant WhatsApp integration, what becomes the next differentiator for brick and mortar retail? Because as we've seen today, the game of commerce never really stops evolving.
It definitely doesn't.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. The next time you walk past an unassuming local shop in your neighborhood, look at it through this new strategic lens. Think about what incredible services they might be hiding simply because they haven't figured out how to translate their real-world value into a digital language. We'll see you next time.